Hey guys, I thought I would do a quick axe sharpening tutorial. Now, a lot of axes, especially ones like this, generally have a convex edge, which what that means is that the very cutting edge of it, not the actual shape of the head, but the only working part of the axe is the cutting edge, the first 1.5 millimeters, most of the time, is shaped in a way that we call or is known as convexed. Right to the cutting edge, right to the very tip of it. This angle of the cutting edge makes it quite strong and lasts longer, especially for splitting, cutting through timber and things that are not generally soft. If we had a straight cutting edge, that would mean that the very point of it, the working edge or the cutting edge, is copping most of the damage, most of the force on impact. And is working the hardest out of all of it. If we ever so slightly convex it, what that means is that the timber or the cutting piece is actually being split by a part of the axe that isn't the cutting edge. And the convex angle of that cutting edge helps us achieve that strength. So this can really be quite simple. Axe sharpening can be done many ways. I like to do it just simply because it can quite easily be overcomplicated. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find a flat spot. You're going to get 2 files. I like to use 2 files. I've got a bastard file and I've got a second cut file. Second cut is, like the name states, being used after or as a second filing option, filing cut. The March flies are fucking crazy here, that's why I'm kind of dancing a little bit. But first you want to use your bastard file, and second I'm just finishing it off or convexing it, doing that shape with it with my second cut. If I can give you a bit of an example, so I'm going to do the first pass with the bastard file to make it almost as if we were sharpening it to a straight angle, a straight degree all the way to the cutting edge. Then with the second cut file, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round that edge just ever so slightly, so it just becomes that there's a second angle within it, all the way up to the cutting edge, and that's what's going to basically give it that roll, give it that convex. All right, so we're going to find our bastard file. A file will only work one way as it pushes. You won't sit there sawing it. It's not a hand saw. This is a file. It'll only cut one way. All right, so you want to keep your axe flat, keep your hands clear. Find the degree that looks about here where the file might almost be touching your hands. Whew. Crazy amount of March flies here. And then we're just going to pass forward over the blade like that. You want to start from one end and work your way down the cutting edge. That's fine. Do whatever works best for you. Try and maintain that same angle. What you'll be left with is a nice cutting edge all the way to the top, okay? If you've already done the other side like I have, you might see that the burr from the other side sharpening and rolling material over. What happens here when I say a burr, if I've already sharpened one side, that means that it's more than likely rolled material on the microscopic level of this cutting edge. It's rolled metal material over to create what would look like a tiny little wave pattern on the other side of the very point of the axe. Okay, and we call that a burr. You can get your fingernail in that burr and run it all the way along to make all the way along the axe's cutting edge on one side, the opposite side to which you've sharpened, where the burr will be, and you can run your thumb nail or your fingernail all the way along that burr to make sure that what you've sharpened so far is continuous all the way down that first side. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is make sure that you do that on the second side all the way until you can almost feel that burr on the other side. Yeah, until you can feel it. to make sure that that cutting edge, or cutting, yeah, very edge of the axe blade is sharp all the way to each other, rather than them just being even more zoomed in, quite a blunt or rolled edge, and all you've done is sharpen one side and you haven't really touched up the final interior piece of that second side. Okay, so this just to make sure that if we feel the burr on both sides, that edge all the way right down to the very last minute detail of it is perfectly sharp to meet each of the cutting edges. The reason why we're doing this is because this is a double bevel axe, okay, and most of the axes that you come across ever will be double bevel. Okay, that means that it's got a shaved head, sharpened on this side, and it's also shaved down to sharpen on this side. These edges meet each other. Okay, it's not like a pair of scissors where one blade is cut one degree and the other blade is cut the other degree to pass by each other. That's single bevel. This is a double bevel edge, most of the stuff that you might see. Scissors is a perfect example of something that you would know is a single bevel. Okay, so I don't think the camera would be able to pick it up, but I haven't quite met that very perfect, like that absolute edge, the cutting edge on the top of this section here, with this second side of the axe blade that I'm sharpening. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and make sure that you got to look closely when you're doing this, just to make sure that you can't see any bits that are not yet sharpened. Okay, I'll go through, still on the bastard file. Alright, and it won't take much, just keep a close eye on it so that you can see what you're doing and making sure that you're not going overboard, or that you're doing it enough. Alright, this is where the second cut file comes in. Alright, just your finer cut file. That's why it's called second cut, because you do it after. Instead of choosing that same angle, you can if you want to clean up that same angle, but I would suggest is making the degree of angle in which you're sharpening a little bit more. Not ridiculous, not like that. This is again a double-edged blade, so we don't want to dull it. But what we're doing is we're just rolling that edge. We're not going to cut it off completely so it's no longer actually sharp. We're just going to roll it a little bit. All right, but we're going to start at a slightly higher degree angle than what we were doing with the bastard file. You don't need to dig right in with this either. Like I said, we're not trying to saw a tree in half. We're just trying to shave, just work with it. All right, we're not going too hard on these tools. All right, now I can see all the way along that where I've made the first cut, and that shows up along the back section of the working edge that I've established in this blade, and the second cut file shows up on the front section of the working edge which I've cut into this axe. Okay, and it looks like a slightly shinier but less wide cutting width of that same working edge. So they're about half and half where I can see it. I don't know what analogy to give you with this. It kind of looks like a wave coming into a beach where there's a smaller, thinner one that's run right up to the shore, and then there's another fuller, stronger one that's just waiting to make it there yet. Yeah, any way you choose to look at it, what you want to see is you want to see two slightly different angles within it, or two slightly different depths or layers within your working edge of that axe head. Okay, now that would be what I consider to be done. What I can feel on this side is I can feel that burr. So if I get my thumbnail just the tip of my thumbnail, and run it from here down to the edge of the blade, my thumbnail will catch, okay? And then I can just walk it, just run it along that burr, and that will show me that I've established that sharp angle on this side all the way until it rolls material over on this side of the blade like a wave. A few ocean analogies in that. But what I can do is I could leave that burr on there. That burr's not taking away from either edge of this axe its sharpness. It's not taking away from any of that. Or I could just grab my second cut, go back to the first side, which I didn't show you guys, and just run it, just a real light single pass over it, just to get that burr off there. But like I said, that burr, if anything, as soon as I start working into trees or felling something, that burr is going to just naturally just rub off, and what's left underneath that is still a razor sharp edge. Okay, so I'm happy to leave it. Yeah, let's go have a look.